All right, welcome everybody to Stock Analysis Fridays. All right, we'll get started here about 8 a.m., which is about a minute from now. So hang tight and we'll be right with you. And I'll put a little music on and then we'll come back on and get started. All right, what do you say? Let's get started here. Okay, let me just get all set up here and welcome everybody. I've got a new hat on today. This is a hat that keeps falling off kind of. It's all the way from the Philippines. I got this when I was in the Navy back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And so there you have it. So that's the hat for today. All right, well, I want to review some of the ones that we looked at last Friday, and so I want to go over those. So let's go ahead and get started. I just got to go through a few administrational items first. So let me get going there. Sounds good. You can see my screen, everybody, right? And there we go. Okay. All right, so first thing I got to tell you, of course, is that there are risks involved in trading, but like I always say, without the risk, there is no opportunity. So the two really go hand in hand. And I think that is pretty much true for everything we do in life, right? And the next thing I want to tell you is please trade with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital, and run any of our ideas or stock picks that we choose today past your money manager, financial advisor, accountant, or attorney to be sure they're suitable for you, because they may or may not be. And they will know because they know your personal situation. And then finally, when trading, know how to do risk control. You know, it's possible to lose some or all your money trading the financial markets. So you kind of got to know what you're doing, and you have to have the right tools. Really important stuff. So don't forget that. Keep that in mind. We also have several books that I've written that are all published by major publishers. I've got some more coming out as well on Amazon. And The Trader's Money Management System is a great book. If you're new to us, that's the book you should start with. Think of the money management and risk control part of trading kind of like when you put your seatbelt on when you get into the car. That's the first thing you want to do. So that's a great book to start out on. Then you can go to the other books, which deal with more complex forms of technical analysis. And then finally, like I always say, if you're throwing darts at the dartboard in the markets, you're going to lose your money. You have to have the right trading tools, and we have them. All right, so go to traderscoach.com. I'll put a link down there in the recording that you can take a look at. I'm sure Gene will put a link up there that you can copy and paste into your browser as well in the chat area at some point during our presentation today. But if you don't have the right tools and you don't have the right order entry platform, you're going to have a tough time competing. So that's step one. You're going to see me use a lot of our tools here. We have everything from charting tools to scanners to risk control. But if you don't have them, all right, you're going to be kind of lost. All right, so next thing to do is we want to like, subscribe, and share this channel if you wouldn't mind, please, because we're trying to get the word out to get people here. Why? Because the more people we get here, the more stocks we'll be able to look at. The more stocks we can look at, the more opportunities we're going to have. So share this with your friends, anybody you want to, get them here, and let's take a look and see what they're looking at, and maybe we'll uncover that diamond in the rough, so to speak. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the charts here. And first thing I want to take a look at is some of the ones that we looked at last week. Now, a couple things. You can go ahead and start typing your symbols in, and that's ETFs, and we're going to only do ETFs and stocks today, okay? So we're going to do that, and we're going to take a look at some of the ones that we thought were really good last week because they're doing pretty good. We're going to take a look at some of the ones on our watch list, so we got a lot to cover today. Now, a couple things I want to show you for those of you brand new. Here is my setup, and I happen to be using NinjaTrader, okay, but we have people using TradeStation, multi-charts, and all that kind of good stuff with our charting software. But what I want to show you here is the way in which I analyze markets. And I use what they call a multiple time frame analysis setup. And this is one where I basically have 3 charts, all of the same market, anytime I'm looking at the market. So on the left-hand side, I have a 60-minute chart. This gives me the short-term aspect of the symbol I'm looking at. I have the daily chart, which gives me the intermediate term. And then I have the weekly chart, which gives me the longer term. And so when I look at a market, what I'm trying to do is figure out what's the best time to enter and where my stop should be, and then of course calculating risk to reward and position size, known as trade size. And so when I look at a stock, I look at the different indicators we have at the bottom. We have the owl, which measures momentum. We have the PTF down here, which tells me what the probability is of more highs or lows in a certain type of trend. And then I have the trendline master and the emotional reader index, fear and greed indicators, and trendline indicators. So between all this, okay, I get a good view of what's going on, but that's not all. Then I have pyramids up here that look at price patterns. I'm very big on price patterns and the momentum that forms those patterns. And I take a look at the fractals in the market, and the pyramids are a summation of that. And then we have key pivot points called 1 and 2B reversals. So this is kind of what you're looking at the chart. It's a lot of connecting the dots, and it's a great way to trade the markets, because when you pull that trigger, you're going to be pulling it with the momentum and getting the best boost for your money, so to speak. All right, let's go ahead and get going here. All right, so let's take a look. I want to take a look at Microsoft actually first. Now, this was one I think brought to us by Whitehorse last week, or actually about a month ago. And this was a short trade. And it's still looking pretty good because it's been pulling back ever since. So let's take a look at the daily chart here. And you can see that this has been pulling back nicely. The target we have for this is this fib area here around 267 to 215, right around that area. We have a red PTF on the short-term time frame. Now, here's the cool thing about the PTF. When it's red, I mean, it's so simple to use and yet so effective. It has a 75% accuracy rate, so that's very good in the markets. So let's take a look and see what it's telling us on the 60-minute chart over here. So it's telling us that the lowest price in that red area is down here around 270. And we're up at 286 right now. Prices are currently up here. So there's a 75% probability it's going to go below that low in the PTF. So that is really good information to know, because you're not going to want to go long yet. It's still working its way down. So we've had a little bit of a rebound here, and maybe it'll continue a little longer, but it should reverse according to that indicator and go back into the target zone. So I would hold your short positions right now. When it gets into the target zone, we're probably going to start to cover those and maybe even take a long trade. But for right now, I'd stay short with that indicator being red. Okay, so that's Microsoft, still doing good. XRX, of course, that's Xerox. All right, this was another one that was short, okay, and it's still a good short. We've got red on the weekly chart on the far right. We've got a pyramid here. Now, what I think is going to happen, we're seeing a little bullishness come in on the 60-minute chart. So let's just take a quick fib here and see kind of what I think is going to happen with this bad boy here. Maybe coming up, you know, we probably could come up around $19, $19.71 into the low 20s, and then we should see a reversal back to the downside. So your stop should be okay at this pyramid here on the daily chart. So stay short on Xerox. Silver, how many people are in silver out there? Silver is pretty popular out there. All right, so silver, we were watching silver. I'm going to open up the daily for a moment. We were watching silver. Now, this is the daily chart. And in terms of Elliott wave, if you like Elliott wave, this would have been a 3 and this would have been a 4. Now, Elliott wave is a form of technical analysis where basically trends are made up of waves, and then we number the waves. So there are 5 waves in a trend. Waves 2 and 4 are the corrections. So this indicates a bullish move to the upside. This indicates the corrective wave 4. And now we're heading up into the final wave 5. So we're bullish on silver. All right, so we like that, and we think it's going to get up to around 28.61 to 34. So that's kind of where it should top out short term. So we like that one. All right. The only issue is, you know, we told you to get into this a while back, but right now at this price of 23, you know, you're going to need to put your stop close to down here. So you got to be careful of the risk to reward. I would probably choose my stop right here on silver. Okay. Let me just grab and see if I can get the data box. And the data box is showing us here that that low, probably the best place if you're going to enter now, all right, is 2205, 2205. All right, so it's still not too late to enter, but if you're in it already, you're doing well on that one. All right, so, all right, Gbtc. Now, this is kind of an interesting one. All right, this one here, this is the ETF, of course, for Bitcoin. And, you know, there's many different types of cryptos, but this was the most popular one people were trading. So on the Bitcoin here, what's happened is that we had what we think may be a bottom put in here. So the trade was taken on this first leg up in this area here. Since then, it's kind of meandering. Now, this meandering creates some opportunities to get back in, but you got to put your stop down here. Now, what I would also do, if I was not in it yet, I would wait for the momentum to return. That will almost certainly increase your probabilities that the drifting will stop, okay? So I'm liking that for a long position, but I wouldn't necessarily go in it now because you're going against the momentum right now. So if you're long, stop at the bottom, you're still in it. Be thankful you don't move your stops too close or you'd be stopped out on this one. If you're thinking about going into it, hold off, okay? All right, XP. This is another one we had on our list here, okay? And this one here was a short, and this one is working. I'm going to show you the weekly chart on this for a minute. So this is our target on this one, okay, 23 to 15. And, you know, it's working its way down there. Negative momentum and a negative PTF, so we should get down there. So you kind of want to stay short there. Stop can be up here around 34 on this pyramid here. All right, DRI. All right, see how much easier it is when you have the right tools? You can kind of look at a market and assess it in literally 20 seconds. All right, so let's see what we got with DRI. This is another short, and it's not done yet, so don't cover. Do not cover this. And you want your stop right up here around 145. So stay short on that one. And then DQ, I always call this one Dairy Queen, but it's not. DQ here actually is a long position. All right, we're getting a pullback now, so you've got a nice opportunity to get in. So this is a really good one for today, okay? Get your stop at the bottom. You got a nice pullback. It may not be done yet. You can wait for this to turn green, but if you don't have our tools, go ahead and go in and put it at the very bottom. So you want your stop at the bottom of that low, which is going to be right around 34.46, 34.46, okay? So that one, I'm going to write that one down as probably a good one to take advantage of today because it's giving us a nice pullback. And then the final one on our list of YouTube picks here is PASS, and this was a long trade as well. And that's doing pretty good, okay? That's doing pretty darn good. So I would hold that one. We've got green PTFs on the long-term time frame and even the 60-minute. And we've got a nice move trend up. We can see it on the daily. So those are those. Now, we have a lot on the watch list. But before we get to those, let's get to the stocks you guys want to look at, all right? Now, here we go here. Okay, so first of all, David, I got to apologize for you. I'm on a computer that did not have TradeStation today. So I can't look those up for you. And I told you I would, but sorry about that. I will try to do that for you next time, okay? All right, so let's see what you got here. NET. Let's take a look at NET here. And give that a second to load. All right, so this one is for SL. I think, Stuart, that's you. Okay, so let's take a look at this one here. And let's see what we got cooking here. All right, so this is a long position you're probably considering at this point. I think probably at this time, if you're going to go long, are you long, Stuart? Tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you're doing. Because little concerns here. I probably would not go long yet because I would wait for the momentum to turn green. If you are long, you can put your stop right under here. Okay, that's kind of the way I would do that. So I think a long position is good, but a couple things concern me here, and that's the negative momentum on the daily chart right now. So I think you, Stuart, use the software, our software tools. So go ahead and boot it up, look at the daily chart, and then wait for this to turn green, and you should be good to go. Okay, I just want to make sure if it comes down and tests this bottom, that the bottom holds before you go in. It probably will. Okay, it's looking pretty good because we have a lot of green on the 60-minute. Okay, so it's close, very close. Good one to look at. All right, BROS. Let's take a look at that bad boy. All right, let's see what you're doing on this one here. Not a lot of data on this one. You can notice that the weekly chart only goes back to like October of 21. You've got a messy market. The only trade I see as a possibility here is a long trade, but you're going against the pyramids here, and it would be just a scalp trade PTF. I think you can find something better. I would not mess with this. Okay. All right, Patricia, how are you? All right, let's put you in there for Micron MU and see how that one's doing here. Give that a second to load on the 60. Let's take a look. While that's loading on the 60, let's take a look at what's going on the weekly. So I haven't looked at this one in a while because it was correcting. All right, so here is the situation with this. Interesting. Okay, let's get a little bit more headroom here. All right, so we're starting to see bearish divergence. So we've got higher high by just a sliver. All right, and so maybe a double top, maybe not. We'll take a look at the lower time frames. So you definitely got a move down. Now this is an MP, all right, so it's not a P pyramid, but it is definitely showing a movement to the downside. Let's take a look at the daily chart, and that has already triggered a short trade back around 85. Okay, so I would say at this particular point you should be out of any long trades, and if you were able to get short before, that's good. Let's see if we can try to get an idea of where this thing could possibly be going. Now, the big question here is, are we done with the trend, or are we going to go one more time to the upside? My only concern is that we took out this support level here. So I'm going to say this is a 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's kind of the way I'm looking at that. And check this out. When we adjust the indicators, we'll go down here and take a look at the extended wave look. All right, then that's kind of where it's looking here. Okay, that is probably a 3 and a 5. So I would definitely at this particular point not go long on this one. I would hang tight and make that a short position only. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the next one. That was MU and AMD. You're liking the technology. All right, so this was another short, okay, that we had looked at before. And if we open this one up here, we're in the target range, but it's not done yet. So it still needs to go a little further based on this red colored PTF. So I think a little bit more to the downside. Now, what I would kind of look on this one, this is a little different than the other one because this high here is a wave 3, okay, because this is higher than this. On the other one, this one was not as high as the one previously on the previous up on MU. So this is a 3. This is different. So this is a 4. A, B, C, and 4 is not done. You'll have a nice long trade if you wait that one out a little while. Too late to go short because you're already in the target zone, but get the gunpowder ready for a long trade, okay? I like that one. All right, WEAT for Abel. Let's see what we got cooking here. All right, boy, nice one here. All right, I don't know if you're long or short. Hopefully you were long earlier. The pyramids did a great job on this breakout here to get you in. You definitely have some options here. One is this is a daily chart, so there's no reason to get out of this trade. You've got bullish here and bullish here. Stop is way down here. You'll get a closer stop later, but for right now, the system's got you long, giving this thing enough volatility to unwind. So you got more highs coming. All right, that's the way I look at that. If we look here on the weekly chart, let's open that one up, and you can see green, all green down here. So you're in good shape on this one to stay with it. Now, a couple things here. If you make another high above here, and this turns yellow, then I would start trailing your stops up close. Okay. Same thing with this. You got double PTFs indicating highs at 1250. All right, we're at 1019. So that's not too bad. Now, when this turns around, for those not in it, you may have a quick scalp trade by putting your stop at what we think will be the bottom of 4, okay, inside here and go on up. So I would don't short this, whatever you do. But if you're long, stay the course. If you're thinking of a long, let's wait to see the momentum come back on the 60-minute chart because you see the owl's red. So wait for that to go green again and then pull the trigger. All right, that one's actually looking pretty good. All right, Samuel, I definitely will make that up to you, okay? I think what I'll do is maybe even send you a couple charts of the Bitcoin futures, okay, for you, so you have that and can look at it over the weekend. All right, let's keep going here. I want to take a look also too at some picks from last week. XP. No, I want to look at the watch list. Okay, let's take a look at the watch list from last week. So let's go through here and see what we've got. We had NVIDIA. And this was here. This was one. I'll tell you what we're thinking about doing on this one. It was too late to go short. If you got short on this, great. But now we're expecting this to come down into this area. So we had this A, then B, hit the target zone here. Now we're coming down to C. So after this thing flattens out between like 190 and 139, you want to take a long position on that. So just hang tight. We'll look at that every week until it ripens up for a long trade. Okay. So we'll take a look at that. All right, Intel. Let's see what's cooking with Intel because that was, sliding down as well. Similar type of thing. What we're waiting for here is we probably got, might have a bottom here. Okay, we could have a bottom on this short-term bottom here. It's too early to tell. So what we need to have is the more green over here, green here. Then you're going to have a nice long trade here. So you should get up above 70 here after this correction ends. We may have a double bottom here, possible. Let's see first if this bottom holds. So let all the negative bearishness on these two charts from here, you got the bearish here and here, see? Let that unwind and get it out of its system. Then think about a long trade, okay? So I'm liking that for a possible long trade at some point. All right, the next one I think, was it IBM I think we were kind of looking at last week? Can't remember who mentioned IBM. So what we noticed last week was that we have still a lot of red PTFs all over the place. So if we open up the weekly chart, you're going to see a very volatile market. Look at this. So you got to be very careful where you put your stops. I would say you got a red here, okay, red here. Put your stop either here or here. Here's your target, way down here. If you put your stop here and here, all right, there you go, okay? So that's a possibility. Let's see what the shorter term charts say. All red, all red. So this is one you can immediately take now, okay? You can immediately take this trade now. I would say you could jump the gun and take it. And I would preferably put your stop right around here, okay? So this one, it looks pretty good. I'm going to put this one down and move this over to the actual list, but IBM looks good right now, okay? I like that one. All right, so let's see what we got. XL for Al here. All right, Al, what you thinking about this one? Long. Okay, so he's thinking long. Okay, a couple of things here. You probably will make money on a long trade to a retracement area because it looks to me like, you know, it is retracing. It is not a buy and hold. You've got a red PTF over here indicating that this bottom is not the final bottom. But that doesn't mean it can't go up here. I mean, you can almost quadruple your money possibly on this, or at least double it for sure, right? So let's take a look at where the fibs are on the daily chart. Let's analyze that first. You've got a green here, you've got green here, you've got pyramids to the upside. So yes, a long trade looks good here. So let's take a look and see where the retracement is here. And I'm just going to pull up enough of the high that we recently had. Okay, so let me go grab the fib retracement and we'll see how that works within the PTF area. Okay, so here's what we got. So I'm thinking 10 bucks out. $10 to $15 is a possible target for this. Now, usually, whoops, let me fix this first. It might even be higher. Let me get this a little more accurate. So about $10.48. So on this situation here, you're getting in so early, put the stop at the bottom. Because what can happen is you can get a big move up and then a big move down and then it can go. So you got to give this room to breathe. So I would go ahead and take the long trade on this. I actually like this. Let's write this down. This is a good pick for today. This is one of the best, XL. Okay, so I'm liking that. Now we've looked at the short term, but let's just take a look at it again, and you can see that it's definitely a rebound off the bottom. So that's a good chance of being the bottom. Now you're going against the negative momentum on the weekly chart, but we know that because this is a corrective trade. We've had a big slide down, you know, from in the 30s all the way down into the single digits. So it's due for a breath, a rebound. We're trying to make money on that breath because this breath, compared to some other rebounding breaths, has some real significant numbers of return for us for a long trade. So I'm liking it. Okay, so XL is a go for a long, as far as, you know, I see right here. All right, so Al calls that the bottom feeder long. Okay, I like that. Fry pan handle, I've heard that too. All right, anybody else? Feel free to type them in there. All right, let's see what else we got out there. Oh, Tesla. Let's take a look at TSLA. We were watching this one. Now, this one here, okay, had to unwind, and it looks like it's getting close to finishing its unwindingness. So we got to be careful here. We got green PTFs on the weekly and also the daily, but it's still sliding to the downside. And we've got negative momentum on all 3 time frames. So it's not quite ready yet. In terms of Elliott wave here, okay, this is a 3, 4, A, B, C. Looks like that's got to finish. Now, could this be a bottom here? Sure, absolutely. Let's wait for this to turn green before taking a long trade, though. Okay, so we're in the target zone, looking great. Let's see if that bottom holds. I think it is. I'm going to put this one down as a possible good one to watch closely. Okay, it's not an immediate buy, but it could be over the next couple weeks. All right, so that kind of thing. All right, Frank, welcome. All right, CRBP. Okay, he's in at 0.36. Okay, gotta love these penny stocks. All right, so very similar to the one we looked at XL. Notice we got a red PTF just like XL had, okay, and red momentum. So the long-term trend is still down according to the tools. We have bullish divergence in this current big move to the downside. So it's due for some type of relief, okay, and we're starting to see the relief on the short-term time frame. Now, a couple things concern me about being long right now. I think you're a little early, Frank. And the reason I say that right now is that you still have an active pyramid here and you still have a red here. I would wait for that to get green and prove to us a little bit more that we've got a bottom in. But yeah, I like it. I think your thinking's right on the button. I think your entry might be a little early. Actually, it looks like the pyramid already took you out here, so you don't have an active. But at least wait for a green then. So you're good. I'm going to put this on CRBP on the watch list, okay? So that's a good one to think about, and that could be ready in a week or so. Okay? A little early. I would not recommend this currently for everybody else right now. I think you got in a little early, but good. All right. All right, Hat Trick. Hello, Hat Trick. Western countries' investment in Russia may be 100% loss. Russia may default on their Western loans and likely be confiscating the country's fiscal assets. Be prepared. You know, there's a lot of information out there, but I got to tell you, one of the things is, as technical traders, everything I want to know, because every talking head has an opposite opinion. Everything you want to know is in the price of the chart. Okay, that's the truth. The price patterns you see in the chart are the footprints of reality of what's really going on. So when you are making decisions, try not to be swayed too much by people's opinions. Instead, look at what the technicals are telling you and then use risk control. That's the best way to do it. But thank you, Hat Trick, for the info. Always good to have it. All right, anything else? Anything else? Let's see if there's any more on this watch list here that we kind of want to take a look at. LAZR, let's see, that's another one we were thinking of a long position, but that too had to unwind. So this one has still got red on the short-term time frames, but when this thing bottoms, we want to, think about pulling the trigger to the long side on this as well. All right, let's see what else we got here. Anything else? Going once, going twice. All right, let me just see. We looked at DQ. We looked at that one. Ooh, let's take a look at gold. All right, I want to open up gold here because that is back in the target range. And for those of you in gold, this is a weekly chart. So this is back in 2011. We had a wave 3 top. It took a long time for this correction on this time frame, because again, this is a long-term time frame. It took 2016, 5 years for wave 4 to complete, and we've been in wave 5 since 2016. And we went up, went down, and now we're back up. So it's still in 5. Okay, we still got green here on the PTF, so the high's not in yet. Now, let me tell you how valuable this tool is here. All right, when you reach the high here, a lot of people would think that's the top because it's in the target range. We're done. The PTF said no, we're going to go back up, and look, it happened. So that's how the PTF can really help you, all right, determine whether a top or even a bottom, if it's red, is in. So the stop at this particular point should be right on this pyramid. If this turns yellow, which it will, if it continues much higher, then what we'll see is we'll see an area to scale out of a positions, and you can start ratcheting your stops up closer. But that is gold, okay? All right, so let's take a look at, did we look at AYX? I think we may have, I'm not sure, but let's take a look at this one. All right, so here is AYX. Now, this is one here where we still have a little bit of red on the weekly chart, but we do not have a red PTF. Everything now is bullish on the smaller time frames. AYX is a good one, okay? AYX is an immediate buy provided, all right, we can take a look and see where the target zone is on this. And I can tell you, even if it is, that looks like perhaps a major 4 completed, but even if it hasn't, and you're going to make this just a fib trade, you can grab your fibs, bring them here, and you've got probably an 89 to 114 target range at the worst case scenario. So this is a go. This is an immediate go. Okay, so we got XL as an immediate go, and we have AYX as an immediate go. All right, so I'm liking this one. I don't know who found this one last week, but we had it on the watch list, and we're waiting for the owls to turn green on this, on the lower time frames. Okay, so that's a go. And the trade assumes, okay, here's an important aspect of this. When you take a trade like this, you assume the bottom is in. Okay, we assume that this bottom is in. Now, we'll get stopped out if we're wrong. And that's exactly how I want to get stopped out. I don't want to get stopped out on volatility or a pullback or a breath in the market. I want to get stopped out when my analysis is wrong. So if this is not a bottom, then I need to get out. If this is a bottom, I want to keep my stop there and stay in it until we get to the target zone. Okay? So that's kind of how I would play that. So I'm liking this for a long trade, and just use risk control and you're in good shape. All right, so I think we got some pretty good ones. I think we have go, we have XL as a go, and AYX as a go for this week. What do you think? Good ones? Not so bad, right? I think that looks like a pretty good one. So for David, are you still here, David? If you're still here, why don't you send an email to support@traderscoach.com and put the exact symbol you want me to analyze for you, since I don't have that platform up today, and I will do that for you. Okay, I'll send that chart to you. All right, everybody else, anything else? Going once, going twice. All right, well, I think that's it for today. Good session today. Hope everybody's having a good Friday out there. All right, so I think XL, XYX, those are the two for this week. And we'll be back again next Friday at 8 a.m. And see you then. Okay, thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye.